Hey Internet, Eric here. Gonna be a little real in this video. Wasn't sure if I was actually gonna make a video on this subject. Some people said I probably should. Some people understood when I said I didn't really want to. Um, I made a post about it on X, on Instagram, and in the community page here on my channel. I don't think so. I did on Facebook, but a couple weeks ago, Sunday, a couple weeks ago from this past Sunday. The man who got me into YouTube, like as a content creator, like officially, Roger Domian, Channel Donstar, passed away. And he was such a great friend, such a great guy. Trying to think a little bit of the backstory, how we met. I know he had a website called Roger's Basement. And it was just a fun place to go, see old pictures of him, see goofy videos. He was selling unofficial soundtracks to movies, bootleg stuff. I've bought a few of him from him. I bought the Dawn of the Dead, a 2-disc Dawn of the Dead remake soundtrack of the music that's in it, like the score and all the songs. He had one for Friday the 13th that had every song in the series from the original to Jason Takes Manhattan and the scores. And I got the Nightmare on Elm Street one, which had everything from part 1 all the way to... I don't know if it had Freddy's Dead or not. Probably not, because Freddy's Dead had no official soundtrack. Anyway, I bought that from him. And I remember one day I found out his name because, I had to order from him. And I found him on Facebook, and we became Facebook friends. And I don't know what it was. We weren't very talkative to each other in, the initial, getting together and, posts and stuff like that. It wasn't until I saw him on YouTube. And I started doing YouTube with my friend Whitey the white guy. And I was on Whitey's channel. And I think I shared something with Roger that we had done. We were maybe, I know one of our first videos were either the Halle Berry Catwoman or it was Uwe Boll's House of the Dead. It was very early on. Roger somehow saw that video. And he loved it. And he was a big supporter of us. He was sharing it out. He was always commenting. And he told me that I should make my own channel. And I didn't want to. I'm like, yeah, fuck that. You know what I mean? And eventually I did. And it was funny because Roger would always help me. He would try to help me like, Eric, here's what you should probably call yourself or things like that. Because it was just, I was playing a character by the name of Cracker. It was Whitey and Cracker. Just two white boys from the Midwest talking movies. And I even had, when you comment on videos on YouTube, it has your name or whatever you put in as your Google account. My name was Cracker. And Roger was like, you can't do that. Because if people search for your stuff, they're going to find fucking videos on saltines and stuff like that. So I came up with, hey, Internet, Eric here. And I remember my first video was, it was talking shit about George Lucas and what he did to the Star Wars films. And Roger was the first person to suggest to me an idea. He says, I want you to talk about the first 2 movies that actually scared you. And I told him, I said, okay, they didn't actually scare me, but they still creep me out to this day. So he's like, okay, that's fair. So my first 2 major, I guess you'd say, review videos were Pet Sematary and Poltergeist, the originals. Roger was always commenting on my stuff, always sharing my content, messaging me, telling me good job, motivating me. That's how Roger was. He was a great motivator. And he kept me going. He said, okay, what are you going to talk about next? Hey, talk about this. What are your thoughts on this? And then Roger started moving from, he still did regular videos, but then he started moving into live streaming. And he brought in this whole cavalcade of people that I grew to know over the years. CP from Williscridia, Sasha from the Sexy Monkey channel, John Steele, Angel Tarragon. Who else was there? Ant. I can't. Jace. He introduced me to Jay from JVTV Uncut, who has all jokes aside, been a good friend of mine. All the shit we say to each other, but he's become a good bud of mine over the years. He's introduced me to so many people. And, Sammy, Slipcover King. It was like this. It was literally the island of misfit toys. And Roger was literally the mayor. He had a top hat. I know that for a fact. He had a top hat. And he probably should have worn it during all these live streams. But he brought all these wonderful freaks together. And I say that with a lot of love. Even though a lot of us have gone our separate ways, some of us don't talk to each other for personal reasons, but he always brought us together, like personal reasons now, but he always brought us together to discuss movies, to discuss our lives. It doesn't matter if it's the weather, if it's sex, if it's movies, if it's how bad our car is if anything. He didn't necessarily talk politics, but sometimes that subject came up. And he had no filter. He said you can talk about whatever you want. And sometimes that caused some problems. But you know what? Roger was always there for everyone. And that was what was so great about him. He was so funny. He was so cheerful. He would always, he would make his videos and he'd always end it, happy birthday if today is your birthday. Stuff like that, And then the poor guy was just having this rotten run of luck. Health problems, money problems. And he would still try to push through it. You know what I mean? Battling with his depression, hating life, but he still tried to be that lovable, fun Roger. And when he had a health scare so bad that it required him to go to the hospital, we loved him so much that we all got together to try to find out what was going on. Where is he going? Who can we contact? Back in the days of shitty Google Hangouts, we all got together and tried to keep people in the norm. Brian, Kubrick lover, he's another one. I tried to keep people in the know of what was going on with Roger. When we finally got out, we finally found out where he was. His brother might have posted something. I found the phone number. We called him, checked in on him, and he got placed in so many different hospitals over that long period of time that eventually we lost contact, I guess you would say. Where is he? We don't know. But we wished him well. You know what I mean? That's how important Roger was to us. We all had to get together to find out where he is, if he's well. When there was times when there were trolls attacking all these channels, there'd be times when, and Sexy Monkey Sasha, he did a really wonderful tribute video to Roger, and I know Jay did a nice, wonderful post, and like a lot of us, I know I was the one initially that I know of that spread the word to let people know. Because not a lot of the misfits, you know what I mean? The misfit toys had Facebook. His brother posted that he had passed away. We believe in his sleep. We don't really know. I know his brother said that they did not do an autopsy, but he's so many illnesses that he had been facing. They believe he passed away in his sleep, and we just want to believe peacefully. And that's how we'll go with it. But to get back to like the whole troll situation, there was some asshole who would tell us that he was no longer alive. This was years, like 5-6 years ago, longer than that. And guess what? We all banded together to find out the proof, and we found out it wasn't true. Because that's how important Roger was to us. Bringing all these people together, trying to find the joy in just his miserable life at that time. And then he would pop up on YouTube with these sporadic live streams from his hospital room, not knowing how to work the audio and this and that, because the laptop he was working with is crappy, and he's doing his best, and we're all yelling at him in the chat, telling him what to do, and he can't see the chat, but he'd still pop up and try to do it. Then eventually, after years of being in like the hospital situation. He find insurance and retirement, all that garbage. He was finally placed in a place to live, and he was happy. And that's what I felt good about, because I felt bad, for the longest time, losing that contact with him, not being as in much contact, with him through Messenger. When he finally got placed and the guy was happy, and I couldn't feel any happier for him. We started contacting each other again, talking. He did a live stream from his apartment that I was a guest star on. I popped in. And I'm happy I did. He was the same Goofy Roger posting videos on. One of his last videos he ever posted on his channel was just him. This is how random and Goofy Roger was. Just him in his kitchen making spaghetti sauce. That's all it was. And he was happy. He was goofy. He was Roger. And his passing really hit me hard because of how close I was to him. I'm on YouTube because of him. I've met so many friends because of him. I became a podcaster because of him. I've met so many good friends like Marty, Knight, Mike from, American World from Jersey. I'm not going to name anymore because I'm going to forget. Patrick. Who else am I going to... I'm going to forget people. You know what I mean? He helped motivate me when I was doing my interviews, helping me get out of that little shell of mine. And there's so many things, so many people online, so many nice things, great things that have happened to me because of my channel that wouldn't have happened because of Roger. If Roger hadn't motivated me to do it. And one regret was I wish I thanked him for that. Like, we were going to set up him being in one of my interviews. And we were just waiting for him to get better internet, for a live stream. And I woke up from a nap on my bed, scrolling through Facebook, and I saw he passed. And the next morning I texted Jay. And either I texted him that morning or I texted him that night. And even though me and Sasha aren't really on speaking terms anymore, I said, you might want to let Sasha know. And he could help spread the word as well. Because he's still in contact with a lot of those guys. And all the comments that people have said on Sasha's video were great. Some comments that were said on Jay's little post. It just showed how many people cared about him. And that's all we can ask for now, In typical Roger fashion, I have a screenshot of the memorial card that was on Facebook. It's nothing but movie quotes. There's a quote from Jaws, Dracula, Planet of the Apes, because that's Roger. I think he was buried in one of his Hawaiian pullover shirts that he was so known for. And it opened my eyes, and if anything positive, again, because that's Roger, he's so positive. If they think anything positive to come through his passing, it shows how limited we are, how limited time we have here. There's a wrestler called The Undertaker. He said the only person that's undefeated is Father Time. That's true. Within that span of Roger passing, I found out someone I used to associate with online tried to take their own life. A friend of mine, Melissa, she just recently lost one of her friends. I don't know how, but still. Another friend of mine that I talked to on Twitter, her friend took their life. And another friend of mine who I know deals with, it got me paranoid. You know what I mean? It got me paranoid, it made me realize you really do need to look out for your friends. You really do need to reach out to these people. If you haven't talked to them in a couple weeks, all it takes is a text. All it takes is a message online, because one of my friends who I knew is still going through rough times. and has battled with depression. They were offline for a good chunk of change. I messaged them and wasn't getting a response. And I, of course, you know me, fear the worst. And then they finally got back to me, which was great. So that all is well there. But it's Roger again has done good by showing me how, in the blink of an eye, me and him could be talking about some stupid TikTok video he wanted me to watch, and then he's gone. And you see all this garbage out in the world. One person hates this other person because they're a Trumper. The other person hates this person because they like Kamala Harris. Let's hate on each other because, you don't like John Carpenter's Halloween. Let's hate each other because all this stupid bull crap. And this is where I'm kind of getting on my soapbox, for the YouTube community. It's like everybody's hating on everybody for stupid reasons. It's not worth it. Some people that I no longer associate with, they hold grudges. They can't let certain things go with other people. It's always on their mind. It's not worth it. It's really not worth it. It's better to just live your life, have fun, be with your significant others, love your kids, watch movies, go outside, read a book, enjoy what you enjoy doing, because it's you're gone within the blink of an eye, man. And it's not worth it fighting over stupid stuff, especially YouTube, movies. Who cares? You know what I mean? Who cares about if this person said that about me? If that person said that about that person? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Just move on. Live your life. Enjoy it, And that's what I wish for people. Anybody watching this video, I wish it for people I used to associate with. If you're watching this video, people who maybe, how do I say this? Maybe some people that like to stir the pot, cause a little trouble, that I know do watch my channel. It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. This needs to be a place, and not just YouTube, but this world in general. This needs to be a place where we can just come together, bullshit, live life, and be happy. And I know it's hard because gas costs this. I can't buy food. I can't buy a house. I get it. We're all in the same boat. Life is in the toilet right now. That's probably the main reason why we should just be together, man. Enjoy life. Listen to each other. Be there for each other, and try to just have positive experiences with people. Because you never know when that friend is going to be gone. And I'm glad that Roger and I would randomly send each other these messages on, through Facebook Messenger, even if it was just dumbass TikTok videos. Or watching videos on Instagram of people being a buffoon. Or talking Hammer horror movies. Every time now I watch a Hammer film, I'm going to think of Roger because I know how much he loved them. Just reevaluate if you're looking at things in that negative way. And I'm preaching to the choir. I get it. I know things are easier said than done. But you just got to try to look for the good in life. You got to try to be as positive as you can. Realize if certain situations that are causing you to hate this person or be mad at that person over something real trivial and petty and stupid, it's not worth it, man. Especially if you were friends with that person, just move on. I'm not saying you got to be friends with them again. You don't. Live your life the way you want to live it. Just realize that, you know, it could be over at the blink of an eye. A person, that I no longer associate with, a goodness of his heart, heard of Roger's passing. It's someone I don't associate with anymore. And I appreciated the fact that he messaged me and gave condolences. That's something I mean. That's great. That's the positivity. As little as something like that would seem, that's the positivity that we need from people. And like I said, if Roger's passing could make me look at life more in a positive way and realize how limited we are and make me reach out to those people that I don't really talk to as much. Some of my friends might be getting annoyed with the constant text messages and stuff like that, just checking in. It's better than wondering, hey, what if I would have texted them a week ago? You know what I mean? So, and I'm going to try to, because like I said, Roger always wanted to do these streams. He wanted to get the group back together, So I'm thinking maybe I'll try to, once a month, maybe, get a group of people just together to hang out and bullshit on YouTube for. You know what I mean? Just to have fun. Let your hair down. Talk about whatever you want. Have fun. Quit worrying about all the bullshit. So I'm going to try that. And we're kind of going to try that with this month's live streaming in Frenzy. We're just, we're inviting people for our live stream on the 19th. Just to sit down with us and BS, kind of like old times with Roger and everybody. So it kind of feels good to now talk about this, how much Roger meant to me, how much Roger meant to others. Because like I said, his passing really did mess with me a lot. It hit me hard. And I figured after, what it was when I decided that this month's stream with Frenzy, we're going to invite people to be on I guess you'd say the panel or whatever. Invite people into the stream. It reminded me of when Roger would do that, just bring all these misfits together for a good time. So I figured I'd finally say something, you know what I mean? Because of all people, I should have said something, I'm sorry it's a couple weeks late, but it was a lot to process, and I'm glad I finally let it out. So moving forward, it'll just be good memories of Roger. I will miss the man immensely. I can look on my daughter. Every time I go in my daughter's room, she has a little ceramic Snoopy. Roger once sent me a bunch of goodies, a goodie bag. He sent that to me. I gave it to her because she loves Snoopy. Every time I look at these freaking things, because Roger just loved movies, he would send me stuff that he didn't need anymore. Every time I look at this little guy, E.T., from Roger, why not? I'm going to think of him. He sent me this little guy, E.T. with a beard. I'm going to think of Roger. I got more stuff around the house somewhere. I don't know. I got more stuff around the house that'll make me think of Roger. Those soundtracks, I always think of Roger. Yeah, so I'm glad I did this. So, guys, just realize at the end of the day, like Taker says, the only person undefeated is Father Time. Live your life. Be happy. Be like Roger. Do your best just to bring people together. Have fun. Even through the tough times. And, like I said, we never know when it's going to be over. And that's a scary thing about life. So just live it to the fullest. Live it to the funnest. And, yeah. Cheers.